Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to the course of ME212 Dynamics. This is lecture 32 and this lecture is from chapter 17. So in this lecture we will discuss the equation of motion for translation motion. Now this is about the planar kinetic equation of the motion. So in this chapter we have to discuss about the kinetic, which is the to study the agent that cause the motion. So because of the application of the force or any other agent on the body will accelerate. So we have to deal with the force and acceleration in this chapter. So basically, in case of the planar motion, we have three types of the motion. One is the rectilinear motion, one is the translation motion, second one is the rotation motion, and third one is the general plane motion. So in case of translation motion, again we have two types. First is the rectilinear motion, and second is the curvilinear translation motion. While in case of the rotation motion, we have a type called the rotation about the fixed axis, and third is the general plane motion, which is a combination of translation plus rotation motion. Since in our course we have to study only the pure translation motion and the pure rotation motion, so we will not study the general plane motion in detail in this chapter or in our course. We will study the other two types in detail in this course. So today lecture is focused on the equation of motion, kinetic equation of motion for the translation motion. So let us say that this is the free body diagram of the rigid body. On that free body diagram, some external forces act on the body. So the external forces are F1, F2, F3 and F4. So these are the external forces that act on this rigid body. So these external forces may be the gravitational force, maybe the electrical force, magnetic force, or any other type of the force that act on this rigid body. Also, there is some weight of the rigid body, so the weight act at mass center of the rigid body, which is W. Also assume that this body rotate because of the movement that act on that rigid body. So M1 and M2 are the externally applied movement on this rigid body. So in case of the statics, we use the relationship sum of force about x equal to 0 and sum of force about y equal to 0. These are the relationships that we use in case of the statics. However, these relationships are not applicable in case of the dynamics. So in dynamics, we have to use Newton's second law, which is sum of the force equal to mass time acceleration vector. So in terms of the x's or in terms of the magnitude in x and y direction, so we can write these relationship as sum of the forces about x equal to magx, where ag is the acceleration about point g in the x direction. Similarly, sum of the forces about point y equal to magy. These are the two equations that are similar to that we use in case of the particle kinetic equation for the particles also. However, as in this case, this rigid body has a mass and also rotate, so we can use the relationship mg equal to ig alpha, where mg is the sum of the moment about point g, ig is the mass moment of inertia, and alpha is the angular acceleration. So these three relationships we can use for the case of the rigid body for the planar kinetic equation of the motion. However, there may be a case that we are not, or when it is difficult to use sum of a moment about point g, or in other words we have to find out the moment about any other point which is not the mass center of the body. So let us say that we have to find the moment of sum of the moment about point p. So in that case we have to use the relationship sum of the moment about point p equal to sum of the kinetic moment about point p. So this is basically the kinetic moments about point p. So for that we have to draw the kinetic diagram. So this is basically your kinetic diagram. So when we have to use this last relationship, so in that case we have to first draw the kinetic diagram. So in the kinetic diagram at point G, draw the max, which is the sum of the forces about point X, magy, which is the sum of the forces about point Y, ig alpha, which is sum of the moment about point G. Now we have to find the moment about point G, about point P. So sum of the moment about point P will be equal to sum of the kinetic moment about point P. So that will be equal to minus magx time y dash, taking that anti-clockwise direction is positive. So magx create a clockwise moment about point P, so that's why negative sign has to be used. Similarly, magy is creating an anti-clockwise moment about point P, so plus magy time x prime plus ig alpha, which is the fixed moment of the this rigid body. So in this way you can, by using the kinetic diagram, you can find the moment about any other point rather than mass moment of mass center of the rigid body. So these are the equations that we can use for the case of the rotation or for the case of the translation motion. So in the previous slides, for the general plane motion, for the planar motion of the rigid body, the equation that we derive was sum of the forces about point x equal to magx. Sum of the forces about point y equal to magy. And third was sum of the moment about point g equal to ig alpha, where this alpha is basically the rotation of the rigid body about the fixed axis, and that axis has to be passed through point g. Or for the case of the translation motion, the rigid body only translates, it does not rotate. So in that case it means that alpha will be equal to 0. So in that case our relation will be sum of moment about point g equal to 0. So these three relationships we can use for the translation motion of the rigid body for the case of the rectilinear translation motion, as we are using here x and y coordinates. So for the case of the rectilinear translation motion, we can use these three relationships. So the three relationships that we can use are sum of the forces equal to magx, sum of the forces equal to may, and sum of the moment about point g equal to 0. So these are three relationships that we can use for the rectilinear translation motion of the rigid body. So there may be a case that when you have to find out a moment about any other point or particle that is not the mass center of the rigid body. So for that we have to draw the kinetic diagram. So let us say that this is the free body diagram that is given to you. So this is the free body diagram. So let us say that this rigid body translate about this through this path. So this will be the path of the rigid body. So from this free body diagram we have to draw the kinetic diagram. So this is the kinetic diagram. So in this kinetic diagram, this is basically sum of all the forces about this path. So let us say that we call this as our x-axis and this is our y-axis. So this is all the forces about point x, about x-axis. Now we have to find out the moment about point A. So how can we find out the moment about point A? So the moment about point A will be mag times the perpendicular distance between G and A, which is D. So in this way sum of moment about point A is mag times the perpendicular distance between point A and G, which is D. So in this way you can find out the moment about any other point which is not in the mass center of the body. So in this case when you have to use this equation or relationship, you have to draw the kinetic diagram. However, for these three cases no need to draw the kinetic diagram, just draw the free body diagram. As in the translation motion of the rigid body we have two types. First was the rectilinear translation motion and second was the curvilinear translation motion. So in the previous slide we discussed about the rectilinear translation motion and what are the equation of motion that we can use for the case of the rectilinear translation motion. However, for the case of the curvilinear translation motion, since all the particles on the rigid body follow a curved path, so for the case of curved path, the more convenient coordinate system is normal and tangential coordinate system. So in this case, as the rigid body has to follow the curve on which this rigid body is traveling, so you have to draw the normal and tangential axis similar to that we draw in for the case of the particles. Now the sum of the forces about normal coordinate system will be equal to mag in n. Sum of the forces about tangential direction equal to m, here we have m, mag t, and sum of the moment about point g equal to 0. So these are the three equations that you have to use. There may be a chance that when you have to find the moment about any other point which is not on the mass center of the body, so again you have to multiply simply the perpendicular distance between point G and that force components. But for this equation, for this relationship or for using this equation, you have to draw the kinetic diagram. However, for using these relationship, you only draw the free body diagram. Now, what is the procedure for analysis of the equation of motion in case of the translation motion of rigid body? So, first of all, you have to draw the free body diagram. So, after the free body diagram, establish the xy or the anti-inertial coordinate system. When the motion is the rectilinear translation motion, then you establish the xy coordinate system. However, when the motion is in case of the curvilinear translation motion, then establish the anti-inertial coordinate system. Then direction and the sense of acceleration. Then you have to sense what is the direction of the acceleration. Then identify the knowns and unknowns. So in most of the cases, the unknown will be the reaction forces or the acceleration. So you have to identify the unknown. So after that, if you have to use the rotation equation of the motion, then draw the kinetic diagram. That is when you have to use the equation sum of the moment about any point other than point G will be equal to sum of the kinetic moment about point P. When you have to use this equation, then you have to draw the kinetic diagram. As in this equation, in the previous slides we have discussed this thing, that in this equation we have to take help from the kinetic diagram for finding the moment about any other point which is not passing through the mass center of gravity. So these are the procedure that you have to be followed by solving the numericals related to the translation motion of rigid body. Now, after drawing the kinetic diagram and all these, when you have to find out the acceleration or velocity, so what are the relations that you can use to find out the acceleration or velocities? Or most of the unknowns are given in the form of the knowns. So in that case, find the position and velocity of the body for the rectilinear motion with the variable acceleration. You can use the relation ag is equal to dv by dt, or ads is equal to vdv, or v equal to ds by dt. These are the relationships that we discuss for the case of the particles. However, in case when the acceleration is constant, then you can simply use acceleration vf equal to vi plus at, or 2a is equal to vf square minus vi square, or s equal to vit plus half at square. So these are the cases when the acceleration is constant or when the acceleration is variable. So these equations can be used for the case of the rectilinear translation motion, and we have discussed these relationships in detail in chapter 12 for the case of the particle. Now let's have a quick revision about the curvilinear translation motion. So also in case of the particle motion in the curvilinear path, we have discussed that the acceleration in the normal coordinate will be equal to v square over rho, which will be equal to omega square rho, where rho is your radius of the curvature. Also the tangential acceleration equal to dv by dt, and also ads equal to vdv, and from this we get that tangential acceleration equal to alpha time rho, where alpha is the angular acceleration and rho is your radius of curvature. So this is a quick revision about the relationships that we already developed in the previous lecture, previous chapters, for the case of the particle, or for the case of the rigid body rotation, in case of the rectilinear motion, or in case of the curvilinear motion of the rigid body or particles. So we can take help from these relationships. Now let's solve it a numerical related to the translation motion of the rigid body. So the statement of the numerical is a car has a mass of 2 megagram. Here the mass is given, which is 2 megagram, and the center of mass at point G. Determine the car acceleration. So we have to find out the car acceleration if the driving wheel in the back are always slipping. So here the condition given is that the driving wheel in the back are always slipping, whereas the front wheel free to rotate. Neglect the mass of the wheels. The coefficient of the kinetic friction between the wheel and the road is mu k equal to 0.25. Here in this numerical statement is given that the mass of the car is 2 megagram. It is m equal to 2 into 10 to the power 6 gram, or in other words it will be equal to 2000 kilogram. Also it is given that the mass center is at point G. Here this point G is given, which is the mass center of the body. Also it is given that we have to find out the car acceleration. So A, we have to find out, this is the unknown. So the condition given is that the driving wheel in the back are always slipping. So it means that when the slipping occur, let us say that this is the ground. So when the slipping occur, this driving wheel apply a force on the ground in the backward direction. As a result of that, the friction force occur on this wheel in the forward direction. So it means that on the back wheels, the friction force occur in the forward direction. Also it is given that the front wheels are free to rotate. So it means that when the wheels are free to rotate, there will be no friction occur between the wheel and the road. So we have to neglect the mass of the wheels, and the coefficient of kinetic friction between the wheel and the road given is mu k equal to 0.25. So let's draw the free body diagram. So as the mass of the rigid body is given, so mass has to be at the mass center or center of the gravity. So the mass here act is, this is your mass which act. I want to show it purple color here. This will be your mass mg or weight here this weight will act. Also at point A and B of the wheel the reaction forces will occur. So let us say that the reaction force on point A will be NA and the reaction force on point B will be NB. Also given in the statement that the driving wheel and the brake are always slipping. So it means that the friction force occur on that wheel in the forward direction. So let us say that friction force occur in the forward direction. And also we know that friction force equal to mu k time NB. So this is all the about the free body diagrams, knowns and unknown. So these are the steps in the start we have to follow. So after that we have to equate the relationships and find out the acceleration. So the free body diagram in the previous slide was that here the weight was acting, that was equal to mg. The normal force act on point B, which was equal to NB. The normal force act on point A, which was equal to NA. Also at point B the friction force occur, which occur is FF, and this is the friction force, and is equal to mu k time NB. So let us say that this is your x-axis and this one is your y-axis. So we have to use the relationships that we already developed for the case of the translation motion of rigid body. So we have to sum of the forces in x direction equal to max, sum of forces in y direction equal to may, and sum of moment about point G is equal to I alpha is equal to 0. As the rigid body only translate, then the alpha becomes 0 and the sum of moment about G become equal to 0. These are the relations that we already developed in the today lecture in the previous slides. So by using the first relationship, sum of moment about point x equal to max. What are the forces in x direction? The force that act in the x direction is only friction force, and as the x is positive toward right, but that friction force is acting in the negative x direction, so this will be equal to minus mu k time NB. There is no other force, and this will be equal to max, where mass is 2000, and acceleration, let us say that g, this is acceleration about of which the rigid body is moving. However, here the x is in the right direction, but the body is moving in the left direction or in the negative x direction. That means that here we have to use negative sign, and this negative sign is because the car accelerates in negative x direction. So here we can say that car accelerate in negative x direction. Now the second relationship is sum of forces in y direction equal to MFY. Now in the y direction the three forces are to be act, that is NA, NB and the weight. So NA and NB act in the positive y direction, so it will be NB plus NA, while the weight is acting in the negative y direction, so negative sign has to be used with the weight, so it will be minus 2000 times 9.81. this is acceleration due to gravity. As the body accelerate in the x direction, negative x direction, but the body is constrained to move in the y direction, so it means that there is no acceleration in the y direction, so this will be equal to 0, that is AY is 0. Now the third relationship is sum of moment about point G is equal to 0. So sum of the moment about point G equal to 0. By using this relationship, we have to find the moment about point G. However, in this case, the displacement from the point G to every force is given to us. So here, use the convention that the anti-clockwise direction of the moment is positive. By using this convention, the NA create a clockwise moment about point G. So negative sign has to be used with the NA. So minus NA time 1.25, which is the perpendicular distance between point G and NA. Similarly, NB also create about point G, it is creating the anti-clockwise movement. So we have to use the positive sign with NB. So plus NB, and the perpendicular distance between NB and G is 0.75. It will be equal to 0.75. However, the friction force about point G is creating the moment in the clockwise direction. So the perpendicular distance between the friction force and point G is 0.3. So this will be equal to minus mu K NB times 0.3, and this will be equal to 0. In the statement it is given that mu K is equal to 0.25. So in this case we have three unknown. First unknown is Na, second is Nb, and third one is A, which is Ag. And also the equation are 3. So by simultaneously solving these relationships or these equations, we can find out Na, Nb and acceleration. So by solving this, the answer will be, I am directly written answer, Ag equal to 1.59 meter per square second, Na equal to 6.88 kilonewton, and Nb equal to 12.7 kilonewton. So in this way you can find out the unknowns, which are the reaction forces or acceleration of the rigid body about point G. So this is the procedure that you have to be followed. So there is no like rocket science in solving such type of a numerical. This is basically the replication of the topics that we discussed for the particles. Here we have only one equation, extra equation, which is moment about point G equal to 0. This is the extra equation that you have to be used while solving the numerical for the rigid body. Now this is another problem from your book, Hibbeler textbook, which is the problem 17-26. The statement of the problem is a jet aircraft has a total mass of 22 megagram. The total mass of the jet aircraft is given, which is 22 megagram, and the center of mass is at point G. So it is also given that the center of mass is at point G. So initially at takeoff, the engine provides a thrust 2T equal to 4 kilonewton. So it is given that at the initial takeoff, the engine provides a thrust of 2T equal to 4 kilonewton and T prime equal to 1.5 kilonewton. So the value of 2T and T prime is given to us. So we have to determine the acceleration of the plane and the normal reaction on the nose wheel at A and each of the two wing wheels located at B. So what we have to find out, we have to find out the normal reaction force at point A and the reaction force NB of the two wings at point B. So neglect the mass of wheel, and due to low velocity, neglect any lift caused by the wing. So we have to neglect the mass of the wheel, and also we have to neglect the uplift which is caused by the wing due to the low velocity. So here we have to find out the normal reaction forces, and also we have to find out acceleration of the plane. It's also given that we have to find acceleration. So these are the unknowns. However, mass is given to us, which is mass equal to 22 megagram. So this can be written as 22 into 10 raised power 6 gram, or in other words 22 into 10 raised power 3 kilogram. So this is given to us. The value of 2T and T prime is also given to us, which is 4 kilonewton and 1.5 kilonewton respectively. So by trying, the first step is to draw the free body diagram. So in this case, as this aeroplane is given to us, so we can draw the free body diagram on this aeroplane. However, if you have to draw the free body diagram on a page, so you can use like you can draw a box and two wheels on that box and draw the free body diagram, like replicate just this aircraft on the page, like no need to draw this in detail. So we have to find out the reaction forces. So this means that the reaction force occur at point A, that will be NA. Also the reaction force occur at point B, which will be equal to NB. So it is given that we have to find out that the reaction force of each of the two wing wheel located at B. So it means that we have to find out the combined effect of the two wheels at point B. Like there may be a chance that in the question you are asked to find out the individual reaction of each wing. So it means that after finding NB, you have to divide this NB by 2 to get the individual reaction. However, in this case, as it is given that we have to find the two wing wheel reaction as a combined, so just you have to find out NB. However, if you were to ask to find the individual reaction, then you have to, after finding NB, you have to divide that NB by 2 to get the reaction of each of the wing on the wheel. Also in this question, the coefficient of friction is not given, or also no talk has been done on the friction, so we can neglect the friction. So here assumption we can use that no friction between the wheel and road, we can say that. So this is the free body diagram. Also at point G the weight has to be act. So let us say this is the weight. So now our free body diagram is complete. So after drawing the free body diagram, we can use simply the equation of motions to find out the unknowns. Now in the previous slide, the free body diagram that we draw was on at point A. Here was normal reaction Na. At point B we have normal reaction Nb, and the weight act at point G and at weight equal to mg. Now using the equation of the motion, first we have to specify the axis. Let us say that this is our x and y axis, and also specify that the positive anti-clockwise movement is a positive. So by using the equation of motion, sum of forces about point x equal to max, sum of forces about point y equal to may, and sum of movement about point G equal to 0. So these are the three relations that we can use. So by using the first relationship, sum of forces about point x equal to max. What are the forces that act in x direction? So the two forces that act in x direction are t prime and 2t. So they both act in the positive x direction, so the positive sign has to be used with these two forces. So tt plus t prime plus 2t equal to and also this aircraft is also accelerating in the positive x direction, so we can use here as m a. So where a is the acceleration of this aircraft or this rigid body, and m is the mass. By using the second relationship, sum of forces in y direction equal to ma y. So the forces in y direction act are Na, Nb and the weight. Na and Nb both act in positive y direction, so we can use the positive sign with n normal reaction force at point A and normal reaction force at point B. However, this weight act in the negative y direction, so we have to use negative sign. So minus mg is equal to may. However, this aeroplane or this air jet is translating in the x direction only. So this means that the acceleration component in the y direction is 0. So this will be equal to 0 since the plane is translating in x direction. So here I am written that plane is translating in x direction. Now by using the third relationship, sum of the forces, sum of the moment about point G equal to 0 with the condition that anti-clockwise direction is positive. So the moments about point G because of Na will be, since Na is at a perpendicular distance of 6 meters from point G, and also Na is creating the anti-clockwise direction moment about point G, so this will be Na times 6. Now this NB is creating a clockwise movement about point G, and the perpendicular distance between point B and point G is 3 meters. So this will be minus NB times 3. Now the other forces are T prime and 2T. Since the 2T, the distance between the 2T is creating a clockwise movement about point G, so the negative sign has to be used, minus 2T, and the perpendicular distance between 2T and point G is from the ground to the point of 2T, the perpendicular distance is 2.5, the vertical height is 2.5, and from the ground to point G the height is 1.2. So by subtracting 1.2 from 2.3, we get the distance between point 2T and G. So this will be equal to 2.3 minus 1.2. Similarly, T prime is also creating a clockwise movement about point G, so minus T prime, and the distance will be 2.5 minus 1.2. So it will be 2.5 minus 1.2, and this is equal to 0. So in this case, we have the three unknown. First unknown is A, second unknown is Na, third is Nb. So we have three unknown and the three equation. So by solving these equations simultaneously, we can get answers for acceleration and normal reaction force. And after solving this, the answer that I got is A equal to 0.25 meter per square second, and A equal to 73.38 kilonewton, and NB equal to 142.44 kilonewtons. So in this way you can find the answers for the unknowns by using the equation of motion for the rigid body when the rigid body is in translation motion. However, in the statement it was given that we have to find out the normal reaction force of the two wings, combined normal reaction force. However, there may be a chance that you will be asked to find out normal reaction force of each of the wing on the point B. So when you have to find out normal reaction force for each of the wing, you have to divide this by 2. So when by dividing 2, you will get the answer equivalent to almost 72 kilonewton for each of the wing at point B. So this is all you can find out the how you can find out normal reaction force and acceleration for the rigid body. Here is another example. This is the problem 17-32 from your book. The statement of the problem is a force of P equal to 300 Newton is applied to the 6 kg carrot. So the force given is 300 Newton and the mass given is 60 kg. Determine the reaction at both the wheel at A and both the wheels at B. So we have to find out the normal reaction at both the wheel at A and both the wheel at B. Like we have to find out the combined reaction at point A and combined reaction at point B due to the two wheels. Also, what is the acceleration of this rigid body? The mass center of this rigid body is at point G. The mass center at point G. So the given is P equal to 300 Newton and the mass given is 60 kg. However, the unknown is the normal reaction force of the two wheel at point A is Na, which is unknown. Normal reaction force of the two wheel at point B, which is Nb, which is unknown, and also the acceleration of this rigid body. So these three are the unknowns. So first we have to draw the free body diagram. So in case of the free body diagram, since at point B is in contact with the ground, so there will be some normal reaction force act at point B. So that normal reaction force will be Nb. Also normal reaction force act at point A and that will be Na, and the weight act at point G and this will be equal to Mg. Also in the statement the coefficient of the friction is not given, or no idea about the friction has been given to us, so we can assume that the friction is negligible. So our assumption can be no friction between wheel and row. So we can assume this thing. So by using, after drawing the free body diagram, we have to use the equation of the motion. So the equation of the motion is sum of the forces about point X equal to max, sum of the forces about point Y equal to may, and sum of the moment about point G equal to 0. So by using these three equations we can find out the unknown. So in the previous slide, the free body diagram of this rigid body is that on point B the normal reaction force act, on point A the normal reaction force Na act, and on point G the weight act, which is mg, and we assume that there is no friction act between the two bodies. And by using the equation of the motion we can find out the unknowns. So the unknowns are acceleration was unknown, normal reaction force at point A was unknown, and normal reaction force at point B was unknown to us. So by specifying the direction x and y direction is our positive, and anti-clockwise movement is positive. So sum of forces about point x equal to ma x. Now what are the forces act in x direction? So in this case we can basically split this force which acted at an angle of 30 degree into the two components. So this component will be px and this component will be py, where px equal to p cos of 30 degree and py equal to p sin of 30 degree. So in the from the figure diagram, we can see that px act in the negative x direction. So we can write minus p cos of 30 degree equal to max, is this rigid body is accelerating in the x direction. So we can assume that this is the x component of acceleration act. However, by using sum of forces in y direction equal to may. So here the force act in y direction is p sine of 30 degree. This is the force which act in the positive y direction. We have to use positive sign with it. Also, there are the two normal force that act in the y direction. So their normal force will be are NA and NB. And these normal force N and NB act in the positive y direction. So we have to use positive sign. Over this, the weight WMG act in the negative y direction. We have to use negative sign with it. And as this rigid body is only translating in x direction but not translating in y direction, so it means that the acceleration in the y direction will be 0. So we have to use equate this to 0. Now from these two equations, we have the two unknowns are acceleration is unknown and NA and NB is unknown. So we have three unknowns and two equations. So we have to use the third equation, which is sum of the moment about point G equal to 0. So with the conditions that taking anti-clockwise moment is positive. So by taking anti-clockwise moment as positive, we can see that NA create a clockwise moment about point G. So minus NA time perpendicular distance between point G is 0.3. So minus NA time 0.3 plus this NB is creating a clockwise an anti-clockwise movement about point G. So we have to use a positive sign with NB as it is creating an anti-clockwise movement about point G. So it will be equal to NB time 0.2. Now for Px and Py, so this is Px and this will be your Py. So the Px is creating an anti-clockwise movement about point G. So we have to use again positive sign with it. So it will be P cos of 30 degree. And what is the perpendicular distance from this V to the location of the point P? The vertical distance is 0.4, and here from the wheel to the point G the vertical distance is 0.3. So from 0.4 minus 0.3 will be the distance between G and Px. Let us say we call this x. So it will be equal to 0.4 minus 0.3. So this will be 0.4 minus 0.3. And Py is creating a clockwise movement about point G. So minus P sine of 30 degree, and the distance between the point Py and point G is, so this will be equal to from this to point G, so it will be equal to 3 plus 0.08. So it will be 0.08 plus 0.3. This will be equal to 0. So in this way we can after finding this, we got A equal to minus 9.33 meter per square second and A equal to 113.4 Newton and B equal to 325.2 Newton. Here we got a negative sign with acceleration, and this is because in this equation I use positive sign for the acceleration, from which we assume that our body is accelerating in the positive x direction. But it can be seen that as the force P is acting in the negative x direction, so it means that it accelerating the body in the negative x direction. So it means that our assumed direction for the acceleration is not correct in the questions in while solving this numerical problem. That's why we got a negative sign with acceleration, and and we both got the positive value, which means that it act in the positive y direction. So in this way you can solve the numerical related to the translating motion of the rigid body. So in the next lecture I will solve some numerical related to the curvilinear motion of the rigid body.